Hello and welcome to Saki Tech. In today's video, I will share over 50 tips and tricks on the HTC One M9. Whether you already own this amazing phone or you want to get one, this is the video to watch to learn all about it. So let's dive right in. Alright, so the tip number one has to do with the camera. If you launch the camera, and if you go into the settings, and tap this settings icons right here, and go to where it says camera options, tap that. And then from here, make sure you enable voice capture on. If you enable voice capture, what that does is every time you say cheese or every time you say action, it's going to either take a picture or record a video. So let me demonstrate that really quick. You can also see a quick tutorial on the actual camera. So let's say cheese. And that took a picture. Capture. You can also say rolling. And that's going to start recording the video as you just saw. So using your voice, you can either take a picture or you can take a video recording. Now one more cool thing you can add to the mix is if you go back into settings and if you tap on camera options, right? And if you scroll down, you have a self timer. So tap the self timer plus, let's do 2 seconds. And let's go right back to the camera. Now I'm going to say capture. And as you can see, the timer and the voice control worked hand in hand to give you a voice-controlled, self-timered shot. And one final thing I'm going to show you guys in the camera is if you go back into settings, and if you go into the camera options, you can also enable touch to capture. So every time you tap the screen, it's going to take a picture using the self-timer if the self-timer is in fact enabled. Now here's one of my favorite tips. If you launch messages, and here's a regular message. If you tap it, it looks pretty bland. White background and a little bubble right here that is grayish. Now if you go back, tap settings, go into settings, click general, scroll all the way down, and from here you can change the background of each message. So if I tap this, I can go to theme app wallpaper. And from there, I can pick any background image for my text messages. Let's just pick this guy right here for now. Apply. Go back. And now every time I pull one of my messages up, I'm going to have that background that I just picked. You can also pick any picture. If you took a picture of your friend and you want to have him in the background, you can do that as well. And now let me show you one more thing. If you go into settings again, general, scroll all the way down. From here you can change the style of the bubbles. So if I tap this, received messages can now look red. Sent messages can now look orange. Click done. Go back in here. As you can see, the message that I sent is orange and anything I receive is going to be reddish. So that's a very nice way to customize your messaging application, especially if you're a big text messenger. Now the next couple tips I want to show you guys has to do with how you customize your phone, how you personalize your phone, and HTC One M9 is big on that. So let's go into the settings and let's go into the personalize section. Now from here, you've got a couple things I want to show you guys here. First of all, I'm going to show you change navigation buttons. Now these are the navigation buttons here. At the bottom you get 3. You get the back button, home button, and the multitasking pane. If you go into change navigation buttons, you can actually add some more navigation buttons. For example, let's use notifications. So now you got 1, 2, 3, 4, and let's click done. And now at the bottom you actually have a notifications button. So instead of pulling down the notifications center just like this, you can tap this icon and that's going to pull it out for you. Okay, and then if you go back in here, you can actually rearrange the navigation buttons. So you can grab this guy and you can put it right down here. So if you click done, your notifications panel button now moves to the right. And if I tap it, it brings down the notification center. And I really love this one because you don't have to go all the way up to pull it down. And before we dive into the themes, the other option is change accent colors. So if you tap accent colors, from here you have numerous options. Let me just show you exactly what I mean here. So let's go with origami here. Tap that. Now if you go back out and pull this menu down, everything that you see is going to be based off the theme we just picked. So it's all red. So when something is turned on, it's going to show off as red. If something is turned off, it's just going to be white. But let's go back into settings, scroll down, tap personalize, go to change accent colors, and just pick something else, the default. Go back out, pull on the notifications, and as you can see, this time around it is blue. So this is a really nice and subtle personalization option that HTC offers. Now let's go back to theming. So this is the biggest part of personalizing your phone. So if you go to settings, personalize, change or edit theme, tap it. And from here, now you do have to create an account with HTC and sign in so you can have things like the bookmarks. Okay, but let me show you what you can do here. So first of all, you can just pick any theme from the catalog. Just tap one theme, click apply, click yes, and now if you go back out, the entire scheme of your phone is changed. Even the little navigation buttons at the bottom have changed, the fonts have changed, the background icon has changed, everything has in fact changed, including the app icons. But let me show you a couple more tips here. So if you go back in, personalize, edit theme, you can also tap this button, and from here you can go deep into customization into every single aspect of your theme, including the fonts, sounds, icons, wallpapers. So if you tap wallpapers, you can pick different wallpapers. If you go to icons, you can pick different icons. Alrighty, and also if you go to recommended, you're going to see themes from the theme store that you can go and download. These themes could be created by HTC, they could be user uploaded. You can even create your own theme by pressing this plus button. Choose a home image, you can choose the home image from gallery, camera, or photos. Let's go to gallery. Let's just pick this guy right here. Click done. That's one of the pictures that I took earlier. Click next. And what HTC will do is it's going to create a custom theme based off of the colors off of the picture that you provided. Okay, and then you can also go ahead and you can preview all of this. You can edit it. You can click next to set it up. We're not going to do that today, but I just wanted to show you guys the options that you do have. Let me switch back to a normal theme. And let me show you something really quick to you in the personalize option. If you go to settings and if you go into personalize, if you scroll down, you can change the style of your fonts and the size of your fonts. So if you tap the size, you can choose large. That's going to increment the size a little bit. I'm going to keep that at medium. And also you can change the font style. So from here you can have some really nice looking fonts, such as the inner space right here. Okay, so if you go back, now you got the inner space font all across your HTC One M9. The amount of personalization that you can achieve with this phone using the Sense 7 skin is absolutely amazing. And here's some more things you can do. If you pull down the notifications tab, and if you pull it down one more time, you get the quick toggles. In the quick toggles, you've got things like the flashlight. Now let's say that you want to move these toggles around to make it more accessible to yourself. You can tap this edit icon, and from here basically all you do is you grab whatever you want. For example, let's say you do not want this hotspot. You grab that and you drag it down to hidden items. Okay, and if you want the screenshot option, you grab that and you drag it over to active options, and then you click done. Now before I click done, as you can see, it says 12/12. That means you can only have 12 quick toggles in the notifications panel. So make sure that you choose the ones that you want, and then when you click done and you pull this down, you will see that the screenshot option is right here, and if you tap that, it will take a screenshot of your HTC One. another tip for you guys. And also, if you pull this down, you can also use the flashlight. So if I tap this, it's going to enable the flashlight. If I tap it one more time, it's going to disable the flashlight. So if you do not have the flashlight here, simply go into Edit and move the flashlight in the Active Notifications panel. Now, one more thing that I've noticed in HTC One M9 is a very good feature. So if it's cold weather, let me just get rid of that. If the weather is cold and you're wearing gloves, it's hard to actually play with the screen because the screen only recognizes your fingers, right? But with the glove mode, which I'm going to show you guys right now, you can actually use your gloves to control your phone. So you go down to Display and Gestures and make sure the glove mode is in fact enabled, and that's going to increase the sensitivity of the screen such that if you have not thick gloves but thin gloves, then you'll be able to play with the phone no problem using your fingers in winter time. Now, another fantastic thing with the HTC One M9 with the Sense 7 is if you go into the multitasking view, you actually can customize even this view. So on the top here, if you press X, that kills everything that you're running right now, obviously. But if you tap this settings icon, you can go into settings, and from here you can change the layout so it looks like the card view. So card view is Android Lollipop's way of having multitasking windows running around. Again, you can swipe them around, or if you go back, settings, you can have the good old HTC style grid view. And one more thing I want to show you guys here, if you go back into settings, and if you have the card view enabled, you can also enable what's called screen pinning. Okay, so let's enable this. Go back out here. Let's go to the multitasking pane, and from here you can pick any one of these cards. You can tap this pin icon, and that's going to pin that particular app so you cannot go out of that app. So if your friend wants to look at your phone and you give him your phone so he can only look at videos, you can pin the videos to your phone so he cannot go out and look at your messages, your secret pictures, and stuff like that. So once you start that, even if you press the home button, it's not going to take you anywhere. You cannot pull the notifications tab either. Okay, as you can see, you can play in the settings, but that's all you can do. To unpin, you have to tap and hold the back button and the multitasking pane at the same time, just like this, at the same time. And it says screen unpinned. Alrighty, so I really like the fact that you can change even how the multitasking pane looks by having the card or the grid view. It's amazing. One more option that I like, if you go into settings, and if you go all the way down to where it says sound and notification right here, you can enable what is called pocket mode. With the pocket mode, as long as your phone senses that it's in your pocket, it's going to ring even louder so you can hear it easier. Many times you don't hear your phone when it's ringing in your pants if you're in a crowded place with a lot of noise, but with the pocket mode it's going to scream and you will hear it. And the other option that you have here is called flip to mute. So if your phone is sitting just like this, the phone is going to be fine. But if you grab the phone, turn it around and put it on the table, if you flip it and put it on the table with the screen facing the table, it's going to mute your phone. And you can change the options, mute once or mute always. So that means it's only going to mute once, but if you flip it over and put it back, it's not going to mute. But with mute always, every single time you put it down, it's going to mute the phone. Very useful feature if you're talking to somebody but you have to put them on mute to do something and grab them again. Perfect. Let's go back to the home screen. Now, one of the highlights of Sense 7 and HTC M9 is the new blink feed feature. Now, some people don't like it. It's going to feed you Facebook, Twitter, news, and all kinds of different information. It's going to update them periodically, and you're going to, I personally enjoy it, but some people don't. So what if you want to disable it? Pinch the screen, grab it, drag it towards remove, and let it go. If you go back to home screen, you have actually lost blink feed, which a lot of people love. Now let's say you miss it and you want to put it back. Pinch, plus where it says blink feed, and it comes right back. Alright, so if we go back into settings, there's some more options I want to show you guys. If you scroll down and if you go to display and gestures, and scroll down once more, go to motion launch gestures. These are the gestures that allow you to control your phone simply by tapping your fingers around on the phone in a certain sequence. For example, if the phone is off, oops, power button is right there, double tap it, it's going to wake it up. Double tap it one more time, it's going to make it to go sleep. Unlock the screen, and if you go into this motion launch gestures, you can enable up to 6 of these. If you want to know, for example, what does it mean double tap to wake up and sleep, it gives you a quick tutorial. So if you scroll down, it says volume button to launch camera. What does that mean? Tap 6 and it actually tells you exactly what you can do with it. When the screen is off, pick up your phone in landscape orientation, then press the volume button to launch the camera, which is a very useful option, so I'm going to actually enable it. So every time I pick up my phone in this orientation and I press the volume button, it's simply going to launch the camera. Absolutely fantastic. Alright, some more tips. If you go into settings and if you scroll all the way down, and if you go into the battery manager, from here you have a lot of options. Now first of all, you've got the power saver and the extreme power saving mode. Extreme power saving mode puts your phone into a state of minimal usage. So all you can do is make phone calls, send text messages, use a calculator and stuff like that. And if you do that, even on like 10% charge, you can have your phone up to 10 or 15 hours. And that's perfect if you're looking for a charging station, but you still need to be connected. So let me show you how that looks. If your battery gets low, tap that, click OK, and this is what's going to happen. So you can make phone calls, send messages, you can check your mail, use a calculator, and use a calendar. And when you're done, you click exit, and that's going to send you out. But remember, you can do nothing else beyond these things. So if I go to calculator, that's all I see. And then if I tap exit, it's going to take me back to the normal mode, which is what you really want. Now let's go back. Settings, go all the way down, battery manager, and if you scroll down, you can get battery usage statistics. So if I tap this, it's going to tell me what part of my system is using most of my battery life. So as you can see, as right now, camera and Sense Home, the home screen is using my battery life a lot. And you can even have a breakdown. What's using my battery when my phone is just sitting there with the screen, with the screen turned off, okay? When my screen is turned on, Sense Home, camera, the Android system, they're all being used constantly. But when my screen is off, so far, nothing is really being used, and that's because the phone is brand new, so we don't have enough statistics yet to make the calculation. Now going back, if you go back into the battery manager, at the bottom here, you have another tip. It's a show battery level. If you look up top here, it says 88% battery left. If you just want the bar, which is right next to 88%, but not the actual 88%, tap it, and as you can see, the 88% disappears. And then if you want it, I like it, you just keep it right there. And finally, if you tap history, it's going to actually give you an approximation based on your current usage, how much battery life can you expect. So I've been playing with this phone to make this video, so it's been on, and the phone is predicting that I have approximately 6 hours left of doing exactly what I've been doing so far. So by 11 o'clock, my battery will be dead, okay? That's a nice way to predict your battery life on the M9. Another wonderful tip with the text messaging application is if you go into settings again, click settings, go to notifications, and enable heads-up notification. If you enable this, what this does is every time somebody sends you a message, let's say you're watching a movie, you're using an app on your phone to watch a movie or play a game, you're going to get a nice little preview without leaving your current application at all. Now when you go to the settings, if you go all the way down, there's actually a menu here that most manufacturers hide. It's called developer options. To enable developer options, go to about, go to software information, click more, tap build number 7 times, and now it says you're a developer. So if you go back out, you suddenly have access to this secret menu that, if you play with it too much, could destroy your phone. So be very careful with these little things. So you have all these options you can play with, which I don't recommend unless you know what you're doing. Alright, so if you go into the app drawer, you have a couple options. You have the option to search apps if you need to search an app very quickly, or you can tap this button. It's going to take you directly to the Google Play Store, or you can tap this options right here. It gives you a couple more settings. You can change the grid size. So if you do 3 by 4, you're going to see less apps on the drawer. It's 3 by 4. Okay, and if you go back in, you want to see everything, you want to see more, you go for 4 by 5. And if you go back in again here, you can tap on this and you can actually hide or unhide apps. So as you can see, I never use FM radio. So I'm simply going to tap onto it and make sure it is hidden. And I can also hide this help icon right here. If I click done, both of them are not going to show up right over here. And if I go back in, I can also tap on manage apps, and that's going to take me to the all apps screen, so I can see what I have on my SD card, if any, what is currently running, or all the apps installed on my actual phone. By the way, when you pull down the notifications panel just like this, it's only going to bring the simple notifications. But if you use 2 fingers at the same time, it's going to pull the actual quick toggles. So that's a quick tip to go into the quick toggles fast. Alright, so let's go back out and let's go into settings and go to accessibility, and here we have a couple options that are hiding. So for example, one of them is the color inversion. If you tap this, this is going to invert the entire color scheme of your phone. So now you get a black and white menu. Okay, but let's turn it off. You can also do color correction. Okay, so if you tap that, you can test this out. If you like what you see, you can keep it on. If not, go back to off. And then the other thing is, if you're having difficulty seeing the black text on the screen, you can increase the contrast. If you click that, it's going to increase the contrast of the black, so you'll see it even better. So for me, I don't need this. I'm going to disable it. And finally, I want you guys to take a look at this. It says power button to end calls. This is pretty amazing feature. Normally, if somebody is calling you, you're on a call and you're done, you have to press the end button to end the call on the actual screen. But with this enabled, you can simply tap the power button, and if somebody's calling you, you can end the call simply by pressing this button right on the corner. And a couple things I want to go over regarding the camera. If you launch the camera, just like the iPhone now, you can switch between different modes simply by swiping around. So that's going to bring the selfie mode. There's my hand. You can switch to, that's the camera. You can switch to the panorama option. Alrighty. You can also tap this icon, 4 little circles at the bottom here. If you tap it, it allows you to switch between cameras. And if you click add, you can create custom cameras. Cameras that maximize the bokeh that your phone can capture. So if I tap this, it's going to now have the bokeh option right there. I can also add, I can do a split capture. So that is going to take a picture using a camera in the front and the back. So you can take a picture of your face and whatever your face is looking at if you need to. And you can also do the photo booth camera. Now also, if you go into settings over here, and if you scroll down and you click general settings, over here you have something called volume button options. If you tap it, it basically allows you to pick what you want to do when you press the volume rockers on the side. Do you want to capture a picture, or do you want to, let's go back, general, volume button options, do you want to zoom back and forth? So now I can actually use these guys, oops, to zoom, as you can see. Not a bad feature. Next tip, if you go to settings and if you scroll all the way down and if you click storage, you get some nice statistics regarding the storage that is being used on your phone. So here it's saying that apps are taking up to, it's still making the calculation, so photos are taking up to 78 megabytes. So the system is taking up to, whatever the calculation comes up to be, 9 gigabytes, and the apps are taking 2 gigabytes. Here's what I have available, and if I tap this icon, it actually allows me to delete. If I tap apps right here, it's going to ask me to uninstall it. It's telling me that Facebook is taking 151 megabytes of extra space. Okay, so when you go to storage, you have these nice management options. You can see what's going on at a snapshot, make more space by going into miscellaneous and just deleting stuff that you do not need. I don't recommend deleting everything. That could cause some problems, so be very careful with this option. And of course, if you had an SD card in there, you can scroll down and you get the same statistics for the SD card. I don't have one right now, so no problem. Now, another fantastic tip I want to talk about is if you go into the settings right here, and if you scroll down where it says more, tap more, and then go into the data usage, you get some really nice options as far as managing your mobile data goes. So the first one is where it says, use my data plan when Wi-Fi isn't available, which means if Wi-Fi is available, Wi-Fi is going to take precedence and your data plan is not going to go to waste. And here's my favorite two options. Limit mobile data usage. You can enable or disable this. And you can do the same for alert me about data usage. And if you go down here, you'll see a graph. On this graph, it says the limit is 4.4 gigabytes, which you can actually change. You just have to drag and drop this line. And you can also change the alert levels. So the limit is when you hit the limit, the data shuts off. So you cannot waste any more data connection. The alert is you get an alert saying that your data usage is hitting alerting levels. Be careful. If you keep using it, you're going to get charged. But at the limit, it stops. So it's a two-step process to protect you. First the alert, then the limit. A couple more things I want to touch on is if you do go into settings and if you do go into personalize, we talked about editing and creating your themes. So if you go in here, I do want to let you know that once you sign up with HTC and have an account, you'll be able to log in and you get a My Profile. So if you go to your profile, you can set a picture, and as you create themes, you can actually share this with other HTC users. Alrighty, so they're going to show people can follow you, you can follow people, and it's going to also show how many designs you have so far. So if you click plus right here, it's going to start the theme creation process, and at the end, you can elect to share that with other people. Okay, so you got my profile, this is my themes, okay, this is the basic themes your phone comes with, and like I said, if you go to themes, you have the themes market, and if you tap this, you can switch between different styles. So abstract, animals, architecture, design, and you can scroll all the way, lifestyle, others, photography, alrighty? So this is a really nice theme engine. I just wanted to touch up a little bit more on it. Alright, so that brings us to the end of this video. Go ahead and subscribe to my channel for more videos to come. Give me a thumbs up if you liked this video, and also you can go ahead and connect with me socially on Google+, Facebook, and Twitter, for which all the links are in the description below. Thank you again, and I'll see you the next time. And if you have any questions, comments, concerns, just throw them down in the comments section below.